The Missing Lynx. German edition, Region B. Don't worry about it, you don't want it. One of the more frustrating things about collecting 3D Blu-rays is the phenomenon of shady companies selling 3D fakes. About 6 months ago, I posted a list of known fakes I got from, I think maybe Facebook, that I use as my personal buyer's guide. Link is in the description if you want a copy. I've added a few of my own discoveries. I have no idea who was involved in starting it. If any of you were contributors to making the list, I thank you. I don't normally suspect cartoons. It's almost always cheap action B-movies that wind up being labeled as a fake 3D movie. What, anyway, is a fake 3D movie? Fake 3Ds may be a ripoff, but they are typically fully legal and licensed ripoffs. They sit right beside Avatar and Hugo in the Blu-ray listings, like weeds in the garden. What makes them fake generally falls into 3 categories. First being just mislabeled. Usually the title of the movie has the word 3D in it, like there is an actual 3D version that exists, just not on that particular disc. Or it's referring to a CGI cartoon as a 3D cartoon, which was common in the 90s, early 2000s. Secondly, there is flat but formatted for 3D. This means the picture is flat, but they move each eye a little bit apart, so in 3D mode you see a flat picture pushed in or out of the screen. Sometimes they rotate one eye to give a clumsy and ineffective illusion of 3D. And third is an auto-conversion done by a regional licensee of the movie that are no better than those dated on arrival auto-convert functions that were built into many 3D TVs, which often inverted and had inconsistent depth. The effect can be difficult to watch for long periods, and certainly no one wants to pay for that. Another example in this category is various warping of the screen, so your depth vision may see bubbling, stretching, or warping. And that seems to be what we got here. I felt I was looking at an overall curve to the image, similar to what was done with the terrible conversion of David Lynch's Dune. With Missing Lynx, many, if not most of the scenes are shallow to the point that you'd need a magnifying glass to see the separation, as I was never quite sure if I was noticing something or if some part of my brain was playing tricks on me. I was frequently blinking each eye to try and suss out what I was seeing. There were moments where the strange algorithm seemed to favor random things on screen, like this hunter's wisp of hair falling on his forehead. Curiously, the depth was most noticeable at moments where there shouldn't be any, such as on this computer screen or on these photographs during this flashback. And yet in another part, we were shown paintings that clearly had a little bit of depth to them, whereas the rest of the picture just seemed to have none or so little. Overall, that low depth hid most of the errors, creating an uneasy experience where you spend much of your time knowing something isn't quite right, but being unable to nail down exactly what's creating that feeling. There are moments, and I do mean just moments, where you do get noticeable depth. These towers, for example, do push up in an acceptable way. And here we see the side of this car that is clearly defined away from the rest of the picture. I find it hard to believe anyone involved with the creation of this movie would approve this. I suppose with emerging technology, the practice of creating a regional 3D version may one day become not such a bad thing. What is rightfully scorned today may become an appreciated subgenre of 3D collecting, but not quite today. If you care, story-wise, this is a schizophrenic kids movie that, to its credit, never sits still. It's frantically paced and jumps across many locations. It does have some enjoyable characters that make up for a choppy plot. It's not exactly a riot, but had a few deserved laughs. Some of it feels produced to a TV standard. However, I've seen lush and beautiful CGI productions that were far more taxing to sit through. If you're looking for something to watch with a kid, this will do, but not in 3D.